All right, so of course our unit test is tomorrow, ladies, and also remember that you will only have 90 minutes to take your assessment tomorrow. You will be set on a timer. You will not get day two. There's no day two for testing. So if you do not finish in 90 minutes, then the ones that you don't get done are incorrect. Okay, everybody understand that? All right, just like at the end of the year, you'll take your what? Your milestone. Your milestone is timed as well. We've got to get to a point where we're quickly and effectively working through problems and not taking 20 minutes for one question. You cannot work like that. If you work like that, you will fail. Okay? And I don't want nobody to fail. All right, here we go. Remember, when I write, you write.
Just like that.
So if you are taking too long to write, in other words, you're waiting until I finish the question to start writing, you're going to be forever behind. Okay, you must learn to listen and write while I write. That's the only way that you can get through the process. I will go through every question. I will stop, see if there are any questions about those questions, and then we'll go over that. I need for, let's see, who would be good to let me know if I made a mistake. Janelle, if I write the wrong thing, because you know how I do sometimes, I'll say 192 and I'll only write 19. Let me know if I do that, okay? Also, let me know if you cannot see it on the screen, because you know sometimes I'm writing and you're like, I can't even see it because I'm at the bottom of the paper. So just let me know. You are the one to let me know, not everybody else, okay? All right. All right, here we go. Number one. The right rectangular prism shown below has a length of 9 inches, width of 4 inches, and height of 4 inches. Determine whether each equation in the table can be used to find the volume of this prism. Choose yes or no from the drop-down menus next to each equation. Okay? All right, so what I know is volume equals length times width times height. That's what I know. And when I look at my picture, I see length, I see width, and I see height. Okay? All right, so therefore, I know that volume equals 9 times 4 times 4. So also recognize that this question does not ask you to solve the problem. You're not solving, you're finding an equation. An equation or a number sentence that you could use to solve the problem. So we know that this would be correct. I also know that I could put two of my numbers, such as the area, into parentheses because area equals base. Okay, so 9 times 4 times 4, I could do that. I could say volume equals 9 times 4 times 4. Thank you. Okay, all of those are things or ways that I could write this equation. I'm trying to get this camera right and it is just not being my friend. I had my other one, but it broke. And so I had to use this one today, but I'll have to buy a new one.
I could buy you a new one.
Okay, thank you. Okay, all right, so let's look here. Let's look at the statements presented. We have V equals 36 times 4. Can I solve yes or no?
No.
I'm hearing yes and I'm hearing no.
Yes. No, you cannot. Yes, you can.
What is 9 times 4?
36.
That is your base times 4. Okay, remember the first two numbers, length times width, is your area, which equals your base. So volume equals 36 times 4. Yes. volume equals 9 plus 4 times 5? No, very good, because it's not addition here. Volume equals 13 times 4?
No.
Oh, okay. What about volume equals 9 times 4 times 4?
Yes.
And what about volume equals times 4 times 9 in parentheses?
Yes.
Yes, very good. All right, any questions? Because you all sort of stumbled on that first one. Any questions about that or not understanding how we said 36 would be correct? All right, we're all good. All right, moving on. Number 2. I'm trying to keep it in your view and the camera's view. All right, what is the volume of the rectangular prism below? Yes, that's the whole question. All right, so you know that you have to count the length, you have to count the width, and you have to count the height. Volume equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Volume equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I know some of you already know, which is great, but some people need to see the process. So I'm going to go through the process, although we can look at it, some of us, and tell, oh, that's 4, oh, that's 6. I need people, some people need to see that, so I have to give them a visual of how I got to that number, okay? All right, so volume equals 10 times 6 times 4. That means volume equals 60 times 4. Therefore, volume equals, look at this, when you multiply by a number, listen, because remember what I said, I don't want to just give you the answer, because some people need more than just the answer. They got to know how to get to the answer. And I want to give you easy ways for you to remember so you don't have to go through such a long process, because you only have 90 minutes. So if you're multiplying by a number that ends in 0, look right here, 60 ends in 0, you bring down that 1 0. Okay, and then you say 6 times 4 is 24. That's your answer. There are no units here, so this would be cubic units. Okay, questions about number 2?
No, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So just to clarify, so when you multiply a number greater than so for example, the problem is this. So you bring down the so you know how 6 times 4 equals 24, right? So when you do a problem like that, you bring down the zero of the 60, and then you add the 24 to the zero. Like
Bring down your 0 first. Count the zeros. Bring your zeros down first. Okay, because more than likely that 0, if it's at the end of that number, it's going to be in the ones place. And then you multiply 6 times the 4, and that comes in the tens and the hundreds place. Yes. Okay, thank you for that question. Any other questions? All right, let's go on to number 3, please. Number 3 says, all right, so the area of the base of this right rectangular prism is 18 square centimeters, and the height is 14 centimeters. What is the volume in cubic centimeters of this prism? So remember your 3-read protocol. We just went through the first read. You know what it's about. It's about volume, right? All right. Then when you get to the second read, a lot of times you don't have to read it that many times. You just have to know what to do in order to make sure that you are doing the right thing. This says the area of the base of this rectangular prism is 18 square centimeters. Don't think that I don't know y'all talking. You about to get written up. Because I've looked at you several times and you didn't even take me looking at you to say, be quiet. You kept talking. So if I have to stop my instruction again, that's your first informal, or second for some of you. Are we clear?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so very much. So the area is 18 square centimeters. What that tells me is something times something is going to be 18, right? Because I know my area is length times width, right? So my area is 18, and then the height is 4 centimeters. And you can see that in your picture there. What is the volume in cubic centimeters of this prism? All right, so let's look. Volume equals 18 times 4, which is our height. So therefore, we've got to find the volume, 18 times 4. You can do an area model. Please be reminded, your area model, the top, the long part, is your biggest number. So this could be 10 times, not 10 times, 10 plus 8 times 4. We could do 5 plus 5 plus 8, because 5 plus 5 is 10, 10 plus 8 is 18 times 4. Your lines go where your plus signs are. All right, so 4 times 5 is 20. 4 times 5 is 20. 4 times 8 is 32. So if I add that, I just know that 20 plus 20 is 40, so I don't have to come over here and try to add it. Plus the 32 equals 72 cubic centimeters. So volume equals 72 centimeters cubed. Any questions about number 3?
No, no.
All right, number 4. Read the problem. Zaya made 8 batches of Rice Krispie treats and 5 batches of popcorn balls. If each batch makes 1 dozen treats sit up on my carpet, how many treats did she make in all? Write an expression that can be used to solve this problem. Solve the problem using a variable. Okay? All right, so let's go back to our question. We know it's about treats. What's our important information? We know that there are 8 batches of Rice Krispie treats, 5 batches of popcorn balls, and then she says if each one makes a dozen or 1 dozen, we know 1 dozen equals 12. Remember, sometimes there are words that equal numbers, but it's not a number, such as double, half, a quarter of, a half a dozen, a dozen. Those are still numbers. They're just words that mean the number. And you have to know what is what. All right, so if there are 8 batches and there's 12 in each of the batches, if there are 5 batches and 12 in each of the batches, how many are in all? That's our question. In all means I've got to put it all together, which normally means we've got to add, correct? All right, then at the bottom, it gives you a directive.
We can't see.
Thank you. It gives us a directive that we have to use. Uh-oh, I'm just now seeing I have a whole question mark for a directive. All right, now let's think about it. When I think about a batch, I think about cooking something like cookies in like those long sheet cookie pans. That's a batch. So a pan is like a batch. Everybody understand that? So in other words, she has like 8 pans of Rice Krispie treats. Each of the pans have 12 Rice Krispie treats. Remember, you can always draw it out if you are struggling. Sometimes you need to see. Okay, so if this is my Rice Krispie treats, there are 12 in each pan. So what that tells me is that's 8 times 12. Okay, so 12, 8 times is what it's saying. Okay. All right. Then she says she has popcorn balls. There are 5 batches. Make sure you're not being inappropriate, because please don't think I don't hear you. If there are 5 batches of popcorn balls and there are 12 in each of the batches, I know that this is 5 times 12. The question says how many treats did she make in all? So I know that it says to write an expression, 8 times 12 plus 5 times 12 equals, it asks us to use a variable as well. We're going to use S. So now we can solve. 8 times 12 equals,
96.
plus 5 times 12 equals,
60.
in my ones place is a 0 and a 6. 0 plus 6 is 6. In my tens place, 9 plus 6 is 15. 156 treats in all. And that is how you solve this problem. The parenthesis keeps our information together, because you don't want to just say 8 times 12 plus 5 times 12. You might say 12 plus 5 first and then multiply 8 times 60 and then multiply, like it will be incorrect. So make sure you put your parentheses around the parts that need to go together, then add that together so that you come up with the sum. Okay? Questions about number 4? All right, number 5. Number 5. This one we did together earlier as a do now. Ashton has 20 1 cubic centimeter blocks in her desk. She has 20 of these in her desk. Of those. She wrote a few statements about the blocks. Which of Ashton's statements are true? Select true or false for each statement. First statement. The cubic centimeter, this is a cubic centimeter, it can be used to measure area. True or false?
True.
Area equals what?
True.
Length times width. Area equals length times width. How many dimensions is that?
2.
So how can it be cubic? How can it be cubic? How can it be 3-dimensional? Remember what that 3 stands for. It's not just there to be cute. It's not there for us to say cubic. Oh, that's a cute word, cubic. No, it means 3-dimensional. Area is what? 2-dimensional. So you can't find the volume. You can't find the area with cubic. It only becomes cubic when you add the height. Some of y'all still looking confused. It only becomes cubic when you have the height. You can get the base by multiplying length times width, but you cannot get the cubic. It's not cubic. That is false, ladies. Cubic centimeters cannot be used to find the area. You got to understand that the area is just part of the cubic centimeter, but you can't find the cubic centimeter with, you can't find the area with cubic centimeters. Cannot. All right, the second one. All right, we use the cubic centimeter to measure volume. True or false? True. We use these length, width, and height to find volume. Each cubic centimeter, these little box, is 1 centimeter long, 1 centimeter wide, and 1 centimeter high. True or false? True. 1 cubic centimeter has a volume of 1 cubic centimeter. How do you find volume, ladies? What's the length, width, and height of 1 cubic centimeter? 1 times. So is that true or false, ladies?
True.
Questions? And that really does tell me also that you did not go over this at home. We did this as a do now. Yeah. And you sitting there now looking like you have never seen it before tells me you didn't do what I asked you to do with those papers. I told you to take them home, put them in your study folder. You didn't. That's nice, but having it in your study binder and it's sitting there, guess what? It does not jump in your brain. It can't. You can have it, but you got to use it. That's how that works. Okay? All right, number 6. Jayla has 2 boxes that have to go to her car. What is the total volume of her boxes? Let's take a look. We have this figure, and I can see that there are 2 boxes that are put together. So we're going to do the volume of the bottom and then the volume of the top. Volume equals 5 times 3 times 6. Therefore, volume equals 15 times 6. This is a pretty big number, so you're going to want to use your area model to solve. 10 plus 5 times 6. Draw your line under your plus sign. 6 times 10 equals 60. 6 times 5 equals 30. 60 plus 30 equals 90 meters cubed. Okay, that's the bottom box. Top box. Volume equals 4 times 5 times 5. Volume equals 20 times 5. Volume equals, you can count by 20s, or you can simply see the 0, bring it down, and say 2 times 5 is 10. So my answer is volume equals 100 meters cubed. But my question says, what is the total volume of her boxes? Which means I need to what? Add both. And I don't really need to put it on my paper because I have mental math skills. 100 plus 90 equals
190.
So my volume equals 190 meters cubed. Mm-mm. Nothing's changed. We're in the middle of instruction. We don't go to the restroom. If you needed to do that, you had 30 minutes and you had lunch. So you had an hour to have done that. Number 7. This one we did as well as they do now. Madison put 22 of her toy blocks into a box as shown. That's 22. Madison can put 38 more blocks into the box. Each block is 1 cubic inch. What is the volume of the box? So she has 22 already there. She can put 38 more. 38 more means you do what? Add. I'm still looking at you. Yes, I am. And I'm so this close. This close. This close. This close. This close. You're talking. This close. This close. All right, it means to add. So if I have 22 blocks already in and I add 38, I know 2 plus 8 is 10. Carry my 1. That is 60. So my volume equals 60 inches cubed. All right, questions about any of the questions that we've gone over? All right, number 8. Nyla uses a number sentence to find the volume of the rectangular prism. What number sentence can be used to find the volume of the rectangular prism below? Number 1, it asks for a number sentence to find the volume. The question is, what number sentence can be used to find the volume of the rectangular prism? Does it ask for us to solve? No. So don't overdo. Some of the classes this morning we overdid because some of them wanted to know how to find it. So but it doesn't ask you to solve. It just asks what is the number sentence or expression that you can use. So for this one, volume equals 1, 2, 3, 4 times 1, 2, 3 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? So this one as well is one of those that you could say that volume equals parenthesis 4 times 3 parenthesis times 5. You could say volume equals 12 times 5. You could say volume equals 4 times 3 times 5. There are several ways that you could write that equation or number sentence. Okay, questions about number 8? All right, number 9. How many small cubes are needed to make the large figure shown below? Remember, however many small cubes, which are these, that can fit into a larger rectangular prism is called the volume. How much can I fit is the volume. So if we're using cubic units, these cubes, how many of these will fit? Let's see. Volume equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times 1, 2, 3, 4 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So for this one, we must solve it because it asks how many cubes are needed. Volume equals 6 times 4 is 24 times 8. So I know that I'm going to need to multiply using another method. 24, I could do 10 plus 10 plus 8. Keep doing that. Plus 4, y'all. I keep saying 8. I don't know why. Maybe because that 8 is there. Times 8. You could do 20 plus 4. It's up to you. Some people need smaller numbers. So if you need smaller numbers, you break it down even further. Okay? You could do 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 2 plus 2. As long as it adds up to 24. You could break the 8 apart as well if you need to. Okay? 8 times 10 is 80. 8 times 10 is 80. 8 times 4 is 32. So we must add that. 80 plus 80 I know is 160 plus 32 equals
192.
volume equals 192 cubic units. Please tell me you're not lying down on the carpet. Sit up, all the way up, all the way. How about you turn your body around so you can actually, like, no questions about number 9?
No.
All right, number 10. Janelle has a box in front of her that has a volume of 36 cubic feet. The box has a width of 3 feet. Which of the following could not be the dimensions of the box? I meant to put which of the following 2 could not be the dimensions of the box. So we're looking for the wrong answer this time. The wrong answers. That's your answer this time. So first of all, I know it has to have a 3 in it. We could eliminate 1 right now and circle it because we know that wouldn't be the answer because there's not 3 in it. Which one would that be? A. There's no 3 in it, so I know that's one of my answers because it couldn't be the answer. Remember, we're looking for wrong. It says, which of the following 2 could not be the dimensions? That can't be the dimensions because there's no 3. Okay. B has a 3. Let's see. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 times 6 is 36. That would check out, so that would be a correct answer. C. 3 times 2 is 6. 6 times 3 is 18. That couldn't be the answer. So I know my answer is A and C. Okay, questions?
No. Nope.
All right, number 11. The theater room has a length of 12 feet, a height of 7 feet, and a width of 10 feet. What is the volume of the classroom? All right, volume equals 12 times 7 times 10. Volume equals 12 times 7 is 84 times 10. Volume equals 840. Why? How do you know it's 840, Brooklyn?
Oh yeah, Brooklyn. It's 840 because all you have to do is get the zero from the 10 and put it with 84, and that'll give you your number.
Okay, so when multiplying by 10, just simply put the 0 on the end of the other number. When multiplying by 10, put the 0 on the end. When multiplying by 10, put the 0 on the end. When multiplying by 10, put the 0 on the end. When multiplying by 10, put the 0 on the end. When multiplying by 10, put the 0 in the end. When multiplying by 10, put the 0 on the end. Okay, so when we move into our next unit, this is one of the skills you gotta know. This should be automatic by now. When you multiply by 10, you simply add that 0 to the end of the other number. Okay, so our answer volume equals 840 feet cubed. Remember, if it's not a 3D object, it cannot be cubed. It's a flat surface, such as the floor. That's not cubed. That's squared. That's two-dimensional. Okay, questions about 9, 10, or 11?
No, ma'am. Absolutely not.
All right, excellent. Moving over to number 12, please. All right, Marley redeemed her dojo points for the week. She redeemed the following points. She redeemed 6 tickets for 5 points, 2 tickets for 15 points, and 3 tickets for 25 points. What expression can be used to find the total number of points that Marley redeemed? All right, so if I have bought 6 tickets with 5 points, y'all should be used to this by now. So I know that means 6 times the 5 points I'm going to use plus 2 times the points I'm going to use, 15, and then plus 3 times 25 equals y. Okay? Now I move down to the next part. 6 times 5 is 30, plus 2 times 15 is 30. Ooh, plus 3 times 25 is
Wait, what's it? 75.
75. I shouldn't have to say it. It's right there on the screen. It's right there. Remember, when you're using 25, think of money, think of quarters. 1 quarter is 25, 2 quarters, you got 50 cents, so that's 50. If you got 3 quarters, you have 75 cents, so 75. So 3 times 25 is 75 equals y. 30 plus 30 is 60 plus 75 equals y. 60 plus 75, 1's place, 5 plus 0 is 5, 10's place, 7 plus 6 is 13. So y equals 135. Questions? I can't remember. I know this one says what expression, but for some reason I'm thinking that the answers are there on that assessment too. So I wanted to make sure that you knew how to find the answer. Okay. Number 13, what expression would correctly show 7 times the sum of 5 and 9? Okay. 7 times. Times mean to do what? Multiply. So I know I'm multiplying. And the sum means what? Add. Thank you. The sum means what, ladies?
Add.
The sum means what, ladies? Oh gosh. I'm tired. This is the third time I've done this today, so I'm just, it's a lot. All right, so here we go. So the sum of 5 and 9. So that and could be the what? 5 and 9. The sum, we say it means to what?
Add.
So the and means what?
Add.
5 and 9. That's like I say Janelle and Ivy. That means they're together. They're going somewhere. Oh, I just sent Janelle and Ivy to Miss Williams' room together. And plus. Everybody understand that?
Yes.
So when you see that and in a sentence for math, more than likely they're asking you to add. All right? So here we go. What expression would correctly show 7 times parenthesis, because it's a different type of equation. So adding and multiplying, you want to put the addition inside of your parenthesis because it's telling you those two go together. That's why it says 5 and 9, because they go together. Okay, so 7 times, what is 5 plus 9? 7 times 14. So we could solve this. 14, 10 plus 4 times 7. 7 times 10 is 70. 7 times 4 is 28. 70 plus 28 equals
98.
no, there's no cube. There's no volume. It's not asking for volume. It's simply asking for the expression. So we really didn't need to solve this, but I wanted you to, just so you could see it, because this type of stuff is coming up next. This type of equation is coming up next. Okay. All right, number 13. Any questions?
No.
Numbers 1 through 13. Any questions? 1 through 13. All right, number 14. Number 14 says, wait a minute. What equation represents the phrase 2 less than the quotient of 72 and 9? That tells me those two go together. 72 and 9. Peaches and cream. Okay? All right, here we go. 2 less. What operation? Woo, thank you. 2 less means to subtract. But it says 2 less than the quotient. I know this is the answer
To a division problem.
to a division problem. So I can't subtract until I have the answer to the division problem, because it says 2 less than the quotient, which is the answer to the division problem of 72 and 9. So if I wrote this equation out in parentheses, I would put 72 divided by 9 minus 2. Any questions about it? Why? How? All right, 72 divided by 9 is 8 minus 2 equals 6. So it only asks for the equation though, okay? So it could have this, have it all the way out with the answer. That would be the equation, okay? No questions about 14. So please know what the words mean and what it's referring to. 2 less than the quotient means you got to find the quotient before you can take away the 2. All right, number 15. Tariana and Anuva needed to calculate the volume of the rectangular prism. She knows her name. You don't have to look at her. Tariana calculated the volume as 48 cubic units. Y'all don't laugh at me, but I mixed up Anuva and Nivea. I just squished both their names together. I don't know why. But anyways, Anuva calculated the volume as 31 cubic units. Identify who calculated the correct volume and explain why they are correct. All right, so here we go. Volume equals, let's count, 1, 2, 3, 4 times 1, 2, 3, 4 times 1, 2, 3. Volume equals 16 times 3. Well, a lot of people don't know their 16s or their 3s through their 16s, so we're going to put it in an area model to solve. 16 is 10 plus 6 times 3. 3 times 10 is 30. 3 times 6 is 18. 30 plus 18 equals 48. Who is correct? Tariana is correct. And she says one N in her name, so Tariana is correct because volume equals length time width time height. So volume equals 4 times 4 times 3. Volume equals 48 cubic units. All right, any questions?
No.
All right, number 16. Look at the box shown below. Can't really see it on this picture, but you can see it much better on your paper. Write a number sentence that correctly shows how to find the volume of the box. So, first of all, volume equals length times width times height. So, volume equals, so I know my length, this is in front of one, so I know there's one behind it because there's pieces stacked on top of it. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So length equals 5 times width. I see this one in front of another one. It has to be one back there. because I see this over here. So width is 2, and my height, I see 2 stacked on that 1 at the bottom. That means that's 3. Volume equals 5 times 2 times 3, which means volume equals 10 times 3. Volume equals 30 cubic units. Remember, this could also say volume equals 10 times 3, ladies. Don't forget that. Or volume equals, parenthesis, 5 times 2, parenthesis, times 3. Just don't forget, your equations can be written differently. Okay, questions?
No.
All right, number 17. The layers of a rectangular prism are shown to the right of the prism. Enter the volume in cubic inches of the rectangular prism. Volume equals 1, 2, 3, 4 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times how many layers? 1, 2, 3, 4. Volume equals 20 times 4. Volume equals, bring your 0 down, and 2 times 4 is 8. 80 cubic inches. Okay, questions? Please don't go home and tell your parents, oh no, I don't understand. I'm lost. If you're blowing bubbles, it goes in the trash. Unless you got a bubble gum pass. All right, and finally, number 18. The picture shows 2 boxes of cereal on a store shelf. This is box number 1. This is box number 2. Both boxes have a volume of 54 cubic inches. What is the width of box 1? So let's look. Box 1, the length is 2. So volume equals 2 times, we don't know what the width is, but we do know the height. So 2 times 9 is 18. So volume equals 18 times something. What can I multiply times 18 to get 54? Okay, so I know you got the answer, but I want to make sure that they know how to solve for the answer. If I have 18, I can add 18 twice and get 36. So I know it's not 2. So what if I add 18 again? That's 14. Carry a 1, 3, 4, 5. I get 54. So that's 18. 1, 2, 3 times. So I know that volume equals 18 times 3. So what that's telling me is 3. My width is 3. All right, now for box 2, or box B rather, I put 1 and 2. Box B, part B, sorry, that's why I'm confused. Part, not box. Part B. Box 2 has different dimensions, but the same volume. We know that the volume is what? 54 inches cubed. And width, we know that the width is 3 inches. Because they said to find it, we found it. That's what it is. What could be the dimensions of box 2? So, I know that volume equals length times width times height. So therefore, volume equals length times 3 times height. But we don't know what length and height is, but we know if we multiply together, it has to equal what? Hello?
54.
If I multiply the length times the height, it has to equal 54? 18. So what are two other numbers besides 2 and 9 that would equal 18? That's what you plug in here. So volume equals what's a number? Go ahead, tell me.
6 and 3.
6 and 3. So 6 times 3 times 3. Okay, questions. So that was a little heavy. So I think you will have 21 questions. So there's 3 questions that we didn't get to review or go over those question types. Just when you get to the test, read them very carefully because they're more than likely just like these. Volume, understanding area, understanding base, understanding 3D, understanding 2D, understanding cubic units. You got to know all of that to bring it together to solve each question. Okay? All right, so I do expect you to study tonight. Again, you will only have 90 minutes to finish the test tomorrow. There will be no day 2. Anything not done is incorrect. You need to study. Study. Everybody clear?
Yes.
All right, I think that's about it. All right.